How would you like to land a 5 or even 6 figure donation? Seriously, imagine it for a second. Think about what one major gift could do for your nonprofit. More programs, more input, no more scrambling for small dollar donations just to keep the lights on. Now imagine that check going to someone else, because here's the hard truth. The biggest donations don't always go to the organizations that need them the most. They go to the ones that know how to ask for them. Major donors aren't just sitting around waiting to give their money away. They want to invest in causes they believe in, led by people they trust. And if you don't have a strategy for finding them and building relationships with them, you're missing out on this life-altering funding. But here's the good news. You don't have to be a big nonprofit with a fancy development team to land the big donations. There's a proven major gifts strategy, and today I'm breaking it all down. By the end of the video, you'll have a clear roadmap to start landing major donations for your nonprofit, even if you're small, new, or have never asked for a major gift before. Here's what we're covering: finding the right major donor prospects, who they are and where to look, building real relationships so they're excited to support your cause, making the ask with confidence without feeling awkward or pushy, and finally keeping major donors engaged so they continue giving for years to come. We're covering the whole major gift cycle. And if we haven't met yet, I'm Joanne Toller, a fundraising coach with 30 years of experience helping nonprofits like you raise more and stress less. And I know landing a 6-figure donation is possible because I've helped my clients do it. Many nonprofits I work with thought they were too small, that they didn't have the right donors in their network. But once they put the right strategy in place, they landed their first major donation. They followed these exact steps and it worked, and it can work for you too. So let's dive in. Step 1 is finding the right donors, or as we call it, prospect research. We're researching prospective donors. And the first place to start is usually your current donor database. If you already have donors giving at smaller levels, there's a good chance some of them may have the capacity to give more. They just haven't been asked the right way. But what if you're a smaller nonprofit with only a few donors? You probably also don't have the fancy donor research tools or wealth screeners. Well, no problem. Here's how to find major gift prospects without a big budget. So look at donor lists from similar nonprofits to see who's already supporting causes like yours. Many nonprofits publish their donor lists on their websites, in their annual reports, or event programs. If these people and businesses care about a similar mission, they might care about yours too. You can also use LinkedIn to find industry connections. So certain industries are more philanthropic than others, like law, real estate, finance. So find professionals in those fields who align with your mission. Now I have a whole video on using LinkedIn for donor research, so check that out after this. And I recently used ChatGPT to help find prospective donors. So I'm currently working with an organization that has just a handful of donors, and they are in a very small rural community. So I jumped into ChatGPT and started brainstorming with it to help me determine what types of industries and companies would make good major donors from larger surrounding centers. It spit out a bunch of ideas for construction, agriculture, equipment sales, and so on. And next, tap into your existing network. One of the best ways to find potential major donors is to ask your board, key volunteers, and current donors who they know. Now, this isn't about asking them for money. That's too much pressure. Instead, we say, we're looking to connect with people who are passionate about our cause. Do you know anyone who might be interested in learning more about us? That's it. A warm introduction can go a long way. And I've even called my local community foundation and asked who in our community I should talk to. And guess what? They gave me names. Many major donors give through community foundations, so it's worth reaching out. Now, next, we need to talk about prioritizing this list of donor prospects once we have it, because let's be real, not everyone on this list is going to make a good fit for a major gift. So we use 3 key factors. Number 1 is capacity. Do they have the ability to give at a major level? Now, professional prospect research and wealth screening tools make this super easy. But if you're on a budget, you can check SEC investment records and FEC political contribution records as a start. Both offer search function on their websites, making it super easy. And if you've creeped other nonprofits' donor reports, they typically group donors into giving categories so you can get an idea of their donation amount. You can also use Zillow or Realtor.ca in Canada to look up property values. And use LinkedIn to check out their job title and company. But here's a pro tip. Always research and determine a specific ask amount based on their capacity and giving history. So never go into a major gift conversation without a clear number in mind. Why? because if you let the donor set the amount, you risk leaving money on the table. This gives them clarity, makes the ask feel intentional, and increases the chances of securing a bigger gift. Number 2 is affinity. Do they care about your cause? Have they supported similar organizations? Do they have lived experience that aligns with your mission? Passionate donors are far more likely to give and give big. And again, you can use LinkedIn or social media to look for a connection. And number 3 is propensity. Do they have a history of donating? If they've given to nonprofits before, especially multiple times, there's a high chance that they'll give again. Past behavior is the best predictor of future giving. So that small rural nonprofit, I found the perfect prospective major corporate donor, and I used LinkedIn to find out who the director of community investment was. I saw posts on their profile about how they supported a similar organization, so I dug a little deeper and I saw that they were gold level supporters, which helped me to determine the amount to ask for, along with the information on their community giving page and some other research I did. But I decided on $20,000 because that seemed like the perfect first time gift given their giving history. So that brings us to step 2, which is cultivating these major gift donors. So now that we have a list of qualified prospective donors, it's time to make an introduction and start building real relationships. And that's what cultivation is all about. Simply put, cultivation is everything that happens before you make the ask. So getting to know your donors and engaging them with your mission so they can get to know you. The best introduction is always a warm introduction through a mutual connection. So if someone in your network knows them, a board member, volunteer, or even another donor, ask for an introduction. But if you don't have a direct connection, no problem. Start with a personalized message. And I don't mean a boring generic email like, "Dear donor, we'd love your support." Instead, make it specific to them. Reference something they care about, like their past giving, their volunteer work, or industry involvement. So again, that small nonprofit, I called her. And of course, I got a voicemail, but I left a message that simply said, "I've noticed the amazing work that you're doing with similar causes in the urban areas. As a rural organization, we've faced some real challenges in securing funding, and I would love to tap into your expertise. Would you be open to a quick 15-minute chat? I really appreciate your insights as a community investment professional." From there, we started talking. She even offered to look over our case for support and suggested a few other companies we should talk to. After I sent her a sugar wish, which is basically thank you brownies, but we had joked about brownies in the break room during our conversation. And I also saw a super cool article that made me think of her, which I forwarded off. We started following each other on LinkedIn. And of course, I made sure to post a lot of thought leadership pieces, success stories, and impact reports, which she liked. So before asking for anything, take the time to nurture the relationship. I've also invited prospective donors to events, or better yet, behind the scenes tours. Now, step 3 is making the ask. You've built a solid relationship. Now it's time for the big moment, and I get it. Asking for money can feel awkward, maybe even a little terrifying. So let's break this down into 4 simple steps to help you make a confident and successful ask. And first is setting the right environment. A major gift ask isn't something you can casually drop into an email or a quick phone call. This is a conversation that requires focus. So not a crowded event where they're distracted, not over email where they can ghost you, and not in a rush phone call between meetings. The best setting is a one-on-one conversation, ideally in person in a quiet environment like their office. And I even suggest bringing along your board chair or program manager. These types of asks are best done in pairs so that you can support each other and backfill when needed. And next, frame the ask around their passion. Major donors don't give just because you need money. They give because they believe in the impact their donation can make. So instead of saying we're trying to raise $100,000 for a program, which sounds like an invoice, shift the focus to them. So I know that you care deeply about expanding access to education. Right now, we have 200 students on the waiting list, and with your investment of $100,000, you can provide scholarships and get every single one of them into our program this year. See the difference? Instead of "we need money," the message becomes "you can make a real difference." Just make sure your ask is clear and direct. This is where a lot of fundraisers hesitate. They work up to the ask and then soften it too much, like, "would you consider supporting us in some way?" or "we'd love your support if you're interested," or the dreaded "any amount will do." These are easy to brush off. So number 3 is then stop talking. Seriously, silence is your friend. Most people feel the need to fill the silence gap, but if you keep talking, you might talk them out of saying yes. Let them process, let them respond. Now, before we get into handling objections if they say no, let me ask you this. What if there was an all-in-one fundraising platform that made fundraising so simple and, dare I say, enjoyable? Well, the good news, this video is sponsored by Click and Pledge, the all-in-one fundraising platform that is changing the game from peer-to-peer campaigns to Zoom fundraising thanks to their Event feature and everything in between, like text to give, donation pages, and so much more. Click and Pledge is built to help you raise more and stress less. With transparent pricing, fast payouts, and unmatched security, Salesforce integration, this is the platform that I personally trust to get the job done. So thank you so much, Click and Pledge, for sponsoring this video and making this type of educational content available for nonprofits of all sizes. I dropped their link in the video description, so go check them out. Now let's get back to the ask and handling objections like a pro, because not every donor will say yes immediately. That doesn't mean they're not interested. It just means that maybe they need more information or there's something we can learn. If they say, I need to think about it, reply with, of course. What questions can I answer to help you decide? If they say that amount is more than I can do right now, ask, is there a level of support that would be more comfortable for you? If they say, I'm not ready to commit right now, respond with, I completely understand. Can I keep you in the loop with updates on this program? And if they say no, that's okay. Don't take it as a dead end. Thank them sincerely for their time and consideration, and then ask for their feedback. I completely understand. Would you be open to sharing what factors influenced your decision? Your insights could help us improve our approach in the future. This keeps the conversation constructive, shows that you value their perspective, and gives you some valuable insights for future asks. And now step 4 is stewardship once they say yes. Landing a major gift is incredible, but if you don't steward that donor properly, you could lose them. If cultivation is everything that happens before donors give, stewardship is everything that happens after they give. Because here's the deal. Major donors don't just give once. They want to see the impact of their generosity. And if you keep them engaged, they'll keep giving and they'll likely give even more. So that rural nonprofit, we started at $20,000, but year 2 was $40,000 and year 3 was $100,000. Why? Because I give great stewardship. Stewardship isn't just a thank you email and a tax receipt and maybe a social media shout out. It's an ongoing process of building and maintaining strong donor relationships by making them feel appreciated, involved, and proud to be a donor. So what does great stewardship look like? Saying thank you promptly and personally, of course, but go the extra mile and thank them in a truly meaningful way. You've done your research, you've taken the time to get to know them, so you already know what matters to them. Use that information to create meaningful touch points. Now, I knew that social media was very important to that donor, so I took a video of our program in action and created a super cute thank you reel that they could share on their social media. Then a month down the road, I sent some stories. Donors don't just want to give, they want to see the change they're making. You can also send impact reports, behind the scenes updates, but just let them see the lives that they have touched. And keep them involved. Invite them to events, ask for their input, and make them feel like they're part of your nonprofit's inner circle. The more invested they feel, the more they're going to continue supporting you. And finally, surprise and delight. Sometimes the smallest, most thoughtful gestures are what leave the biggest impression. So personalized birthday messages, anniversary notes, anything that's handwritten, special mentions in your newsletter if their gift is public. But a little effort goes a long way in making donors feel seen and appreciated. That's going to turn those one-time gifts into lasting, loyal partnerships. Now, if you've made it this far, you're serious about major gifts, but there's always more. So up next is that video on LinkedIn, and as well as a video on creating a donor stewardship plan. So feel free to binge watch. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe, turn on the notifications, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear which of these strategies you're going to try first. See you next week.